The media reports details of a war crime they admit that they have no details of, and 23 forest people charged with domestic terrorism in Atlanta. What's going on with so-called Cop City? This is the Propaganda Reports Drive Time News Blast. I am Brad Binkley. Top story today is quite the doozy, as the entire mainstream media has provided clear evidence of a Russian war crime without providing any evidence of a Russian war crime, and admitting as much. And this all involves this gruesome video of what is alleged to be the execution of a Ukrainian prisoner of war by Russian forces that went viral yesterday and is being seized upon by Ukrainian officials and many on social media and obviously our mainstream media, as I mentioned, as the most damning evidence that Russian forces are committing war crimes yet. You know, a video that happens to come out right as the narrative is shifting its focus to charging Russian leaders with international war crimes. And they claim that this video was released by Russians, which you can imagine, had they known that they released a video of them killing some Ukraine prisoner at a time that perfectly serves the agenda and the narrative of their enemy, that maybe they would have rethought things. Bad timing, I guess. Anyway, the clip, which the Wall Street Journal said was posted by a unit of Russia's Wagner paramilitary group, shows the man standing in a forest clearing in a military uniform, taking a drag of a cigarette and saying "Glory to Ukraine" in Ukrainian before gunfire rings out and he falls to the ground. Here are some headlines about the story that just came out within the past few hours. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The headline says, "Ukrainian military identifies unarmed prisoner killed in video." With this headline is an image of the man before he was allegedly shot and killed. And there's a photo caption underneath it that says, "In a photo taken from video, a Ukrainian soldier smokes a cigarette before he is shot. The Ukrainian military identified the soldier as Tymofiy Shadura." A lot of statements of facts in that headline and that photo caption there. Here's another headline from ABC News. Ukraine military identifies soldiers seen in grisly war video. Here's another headline from the New York Post, which says, Ukraine identifies or IDs hero soldier executed in viral "Glory to Ukraine" video. A lot of statements of facts in those headlines. So obviously, it's been proven that this guy, his identity has been verified. Except that it hasn't. In fact, if you read down a few paragraphs in the Wall Street Journal article, you learn that a relative of Mr. Shadura said in an interview today that the man in the video resembled Mr. Shadura, but that the family has seen conflicting reports on social media, those conflicting reports being that a apparently really good Ukrainian journalist who is unnamed, a reputable one they called this person, identified that person in the video as someone else. So the family said they wouldn't comment until they receive confirmation on the soldier's identity. Maybe they'll get that confirmation, but as it stands, the reality of this situation is actually the exact opposite of what every mainstream media headline is conveying. The exact opposite. They all say the man has been identified, including the Wall Street Journal, and then the Wall Street Journal themselves contradicts their own headline and every other mainstream media headline by later saying very clearly that the man's family has not, in fact, received confirmation of his identity. And every other article confirms that the identity has not been confirmed as well, contradicting their headlines also. Ugh. And guess what? Confirmation will only apparently be possible if the body is retrieved from a Russian-held territory. This according to the Wall Street Journal. So we may never get that confirmation, which does suck, but at least we know this. At least we know who the guilty party is here, because every mainstream outlet is reporting about how this is yet another example of a Russian war crime. So obviously, the killer or killers have been identified. Except that they haven't. According to the BBC here, the alleged killer or killers who are not seen in the clip have not been identified. Okay. No need to panic here. We may not know the identity of the person killed or the identities of those who killed him, but the one thing that we do know for sure, obviously, is the date and location that this video was made, because that's crucial information here. So obviously the mainstream media who is reporting on this have verified where and when this footage was made. Except that they haven't. Again, according to the BBC has not verified where and when the footage was made, or even how the soldier was captured. They don't know anything, really. We don't know jack S. No big deal, though. No big deal. No need to worry. We may not know when the video was recorded, where it was recorded, who was killed in it, or who did the killing. Those are just minor details, not important. All that really matters is that we know for a fact that a killing did take place, because no respectable mainstream news outlet would give so much attention to a video that they haven't authenticated themselves. So obviously, the video's authenticity has been verified. Except that it hasn't. According to the AP, as reported by ABC News, the Associated Press could not verify the video's authenticity, any details about where it was recorded, or anything about the people involved. Let me read that again. The Associated Press could not verify the video's authenticity, any details about when it was recorded, or anything about the people involved. Well, we don't know anything about it. It doesn't matter. Big deal. Big deal. I don't know why anybody would need those minor details, those pieces of information that are irrelevant. Okay, we might not know when or where the thing was filmed, who was killed or who did the killing, or any details whatsoever about anyone in the video, or even if the video is real. But what we do know is that this is clear evidence of a Russian war crime. Because that's what every mainstream media outlet that admits that they've verified literally nothing about this video tells us. Literally every detail they assert is true in their headline and opening paragraphs are just projected narrative into the story by them, which they later admit is backed up by no verifiable evidence whatsoever. Now, maybe some of these things will later be verified, but that doesn't change the fact that as of now, every major news outlet is basically saying to us, hey, this thing that we, the trustworthy media, have verified not a single detail about is clear evidence of a Russian war crime. Off with Putin's head. Submit your daughters to Vladimir Zelensky. Congratulations, mainstream media outlet. You have surprised me. I'm going to give a standing ovation. I can't stand all the way up because I'll go too far with myself. I'm going to give on the knees ovation. I bow down to Zelensky and the media for having the audacity to pretend to provide all of the evidence of a war crime while at the same time admitting you provided none of the evidence. That is one I did not see coming today. So I appreciate that.